Hi, and welcome to today's video about the crystal reports. At the conclusion of this unit, you will be able to explain the role of crystal reports within the Accellos WMS solution, create the SQL view as a basis for delivery node layout, list the frequently used tables required to produce complete delivery node information, create the crystal report layout utilizing a SQL view, set up crystal delivery node printing within Accellos 1 WMS, and understand the reprint option. So the main Accellos SQL tables are pick head and pick detail. Pick head holds all the details on the header level and all the details about the header information, such as customer name, customer number, shipping address, bill to address, date required, and when the order was created. And pick detail keeps information about the product, order sequence, how much it was ordered, how much was actually picked, the description, and the warehouse. Then there are additional tables which are holding all the carton details, and that's Todd Master, which is the header, and Todd Detail, which holds all the detail informations. And then there are the archive tables, and when the order is shipped from the Accellos, so all the data from the pick head and pick detail and pick log or Todd Master detail or Todd Detail will move into the shipper history details or shipper tables. So all the data from the pick head will move after the order is shipped into the ship hist. All the details from pick detail will move into the ship line or ship line 2 if it's after 24 hours. Todd Master will move into the ship history, and Todd Detail will move either into ship detail or if the order has been shipped over 24 hours into ship detail 2. You might also need to consider that you might bring some additional data to the view or to the delivery node, and you might need or require further joins within the SAP database or any other ERP system. If you need to make joins on the SAP database, it's good to understand the SAP tables. So the main one for the order are ORDR, which is the header, and RDR1, which is the line details, OITM, which is the item master record, OCRD, OCPR, and the other ones. You also need to know the SAP database name, and you will need to change the collation when you will make a join. So for example, below is the example on the item master record table, where we join on the product and in the SAP database on the item code, and we collate the default database. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to create the view in the SQL Management Studio. So first thing, you'll need to open your SQL Management Studio and log in with the user who's got the access to your WMS database. My database is called A1WMS, and then I'll need to make sure that I'm going to create a view on that specific database. So I'll type in create view, and I'll call it bow underscore del node s and go. So first I need to create the structure. So there's going to be some select statement, then there's going to be tables, there might be some vehicles, and then I can start adding the fields which I'll need in my view. So the first table we will need is the pick head. I'll call it T0, and then I'll do the left join on pick detail, which will be P1, and I'll join on pack slip. So now I have my two tables in the view. I can just start selecting the data which I want to see. So from the header, we will choose the pack slip which is the order number. We will want to see the customer number and probably the customer name. We'll also want to bring the customer shipping address. We will want to see when the order is required, so that will be the required date. We will need to see from the detail the product which is requested. We'll also need to see the quantity which the customer ordered. We will also want to see how much we picked. We can generate a new field which will be the quantity back ordered, which will be quantity original minus quantity picked as back ordered quantity. And we also want to see the description of the product. And we want to only see the lines which were picked. So we can put in here where P1 quantity pick is bigger than 0. So this is really simple query for the delivery note. All we can see is the customer who placed the order, the ship to address. We can see the date when the order is requested, the order number, the product, the quantity order, the description, and we'll only show the lines which had something picked on the order. If I'll now execute this will then create the new view on my WMS database. So if I'll refresh it, you can see that there is my my view. The SQL queries or SQL views can get really complicated, and it really depends on the customer requirements, what are the necessary joins in the view, and make sure that you always group the fields correctly, and then you have the correct join on the database. This is another example of the SQL query for the delivery node. And then there is also the reprint statement, which needs to look at all the ship history details. Now when we created the SQL view on our Accellos database, next step is to create the crystal report, which will be using the SQL view with the fields we added. So I'll need to open my crystal reports and then choose the new. I'll pick up the standard report, and then I need to create the new connections. So my connection will be database connection, and it will be the SQL Server connection. I'll go next, and then I'm prompted for the server. So here I need to enter the server where my SQL server is. Then I need to use the user for the SQL Server and the password and the name of the database. Now that was successful, I have my database in here. I can bring my view to the Crystal report. So under the views, I can see the view which we created earlier on, bell_del node. I'll select the view and click on next. And then I can choose the specific fields which I want to display. And this is my report. So on my right side, I've got a field explorer. If I'll expand the database fields, you will find out that there is my view bell_del node. And if I'll expand this, then there are all my fields which I had in my select statement. So if I'll go into the design of the document, the standard Crystal report has got the report header and the page footer, page header and the page footer, and then also some details. So I can just remove the standard Crystal reports fields, and I can start adding my fields to the report. So in the details, I want to see the product. I also want to see the description. I want to see the quantity original. I want to see how much was picked. And I want to see how much is back ordered. And then in my report header, I want to make it a little bit bigger. I want to see my order number. And then I want to see my customer name. And I want to see his address. And I also want to see when what's the date required. Now I also want to add some text objects. So I'll say date required. And I also want one for the address, where I'll say ship to address. I'll move this one a little bit lower. And in here we can add the field order number. Now this way we added all the fields which we need on the report, but we still didn't add the parameter. So with using the Accellos and Crystal reports, you need to use the specific parameter which is called firmware, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So on my right side, I have all the database fields, and I also have some parameter fields. So on the parameter fields, I'll do the right click and choose new. The name of the parameter needs to be firmware, and I'll click OK. And at the moment I'm not using the parameter anywhere in the report. Now I'm going to the database, and now choose the database expert. And there is one more thing we'll need to add, and that's the command prompt. So I'll choose the add command, and then in the SQL query we will need to enter select all from big head where, and now comes the firmware, here we need to also create a parameter which we'll call from where prompting text somewhere. Okay. And then the first thing is that I'm prompted for some values. So in here it needs to have a specific string, and that's pighead dot packslip equals and blank. And this is very important because that's the parameter which requires to work with the Accellos WMS. Now after I add the command, I need to look at my links, and the Crystal report automatically generated for me some links between the view which we created and the command. So I'll clear all the links, and the only link which I want is on the packslip, which is my order number. So I'll just grab it from packslip to another packslip, and I can see that there is a link. I'll click OK. I OK this warning, refresh the data, and then on the right side in the Field Explorer I have a new fields available which are from my command. So the only prompt which I want to use for the command will be my packslip number. So I need to find the packslip, and if I'll add this to the report, if I'll try F5, you will see that I'm prompted now for the parameter. If I'll remove this packslip from the report and I'll click F5, then the report doesn't prompt me for any parameter. So my parameter for this report will be packslip, and I don't want to display this field, so I'll do right click, format field, and in the command tab I'll just choose to suppress the field, and that means the field is not going to be shown. So now after we created the SQL view, after we created our Crystal report, we will need to set this up in Accellos Web Dispatch. So first we will demonstrate how to set up the printers in Accellos. Then I'll show you how to set up the Crystal reports, and I'll show you how to set this Crystal in end of line process, and I'll also show you what's the difference between running the Springboard service and running the standard Accellos Crystal printing schedule task. So to set up the Crystal report, you go into the reports, general setup, warehouse process configuration, Crystal packslip and report configuration, and in here you need to specify the name of your delivery node. So the name of our report will be bal_delnode.rpt, and then the reprint will be bal_delnode_reprint.rpt, and then in my end of line configuration, you just decide when do you want to print your Crystal packslip. So in here I can choose that I want to print it on the last pick, after the repack, or when the shipping is confirmed. So I'll choose when the when the user finishes the pick, my delivery node will print out. So the other thing you need to set up is your printer. So you need to go into the hardware configuration, define Crystal printers, and then choose in the drop down list one of your printer and click save. And then the last setup is using the standard Accellos printing versus Springboard. So if you're using the Springboard, you need to make sure that the Accellos schedule task is not running, which is called print Crystal jobs. So if you click on configure, you need to change this to manual. But if you're using a standard Accellos, you will need to change this to auto, and then set up the interval, how often you want this to run. If you're using the Springboard, then under the services you will find the Springboard chip. And Springboard chip server controls the printing of crystal reports. So these are all the important settings for the Accellos to work correctly. If using the standard Accellos, make sure that the Springboard chip server is not running, because you don't want to have two crystal engines printing crystal reports. You just want to use either the Springboard or the Accellos printing. And this is a final example of one of the crystal reports. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you will produce a lot of crystal reports within Accellos 1. Thank you for watching.